This always spooks people when I walk up to the mic, but I do it to burn the initial few seconds to make sure YouTube caches and the audio works. So the walk up is like a perfect use of about 3 seconds. Anyhow, welcome to TA Tuesday. You guys always ask for this segment, and I'm surprised by how much people love it. But here we go. As you know, TA is one of the 8 tools in your kit that you use to be a successful investor. And let's see what we got today. So welcome to the best crypto and stock quant anywhere on the web, bar none. This is TA Tuesday, and this is going to be called Observations. And hold on a second, I have to kill a few things. I left my phone on, and it's very rude because it'll ping every second. All right, disclaimer. This is Edutainment, you know the drill. Math, money, and freedom. Let's talk about what's going on in the market today. Weird day, but a good day. Because yesterday we spoke about, is Bitcoin gobbling up everything? No, it always rotates. Bitcoin dominance cycles back to altcoin dominance, cycles back to Bitcoin dominance, and vice versa. When you get into investing, you got to get used to this whole swing and rocking. That's why I consider myself a very good swing trader, because you watch the patterns. Anyhow, no smart jokes in the audience as well, by the way. So Bitcoin, as you can see, bit of volatility there, down 3.5%. But we have Binance, Polkadot, and Solana strong. A little bit of course, Axis Infinity, as usual, crushing it. Shiba, down hard, down red. Cardano, XRP, down, ETH, down, etc. But, as we discovered yesterday, we're beginning to denominate things in Bitcoin. Let's see what the market looks like against Bitcoin, not against the US dollar. And here you see it's a very different story. Again, Solana, Polkadot, Binance, dark green, up really well. Cardano still red, XRP still red, but Ethereum is up. And so let's dig in and see what we see looking at the charts today. Things that I believe are very interesting for us to note and how we can identify patterns. But first of all, let's have some whale fun. Look at this. This happened only a few minutes ago. We had a $3,000 wick down in 140 minutes. Again, the whales are still wrecking the margined longs. A lot of margin longs jumped in over the past couple of days. The whales sit back and they just rip them like that. And they keep on doing it. And it's so easy to pick off. But for us, we know this is a good sniping opportunity. Always have your limit orders in. Always have your game plan, because you never know when this is going to happen. Again, $3,000 down in minutes. And you can just snipe it and wait for it to pop back up. Or layer in different limit orders. That's the way you beat the whales. Anyway, more fun observations. This is a chart from ChartBTC. Big thank you to Dr. Sanjay for sending it to me as well. And I covered something similar to this a week ago when I talked about the thirds. We talked about the 93x in the bull run in 2013. We talked about the 30x in 2017. And then I spoke about how we could go to a third of the, call it 30x in 2017 to a 10x. And that would take us up to $97,000. But the question is, from this chart, you can see just a very nice perspective of when things could begin. So the cool thing was, if you look at this, you'll see the question was, who was buying Bitcoin on the 11th of May, 2020 at $8,500? I was buying Bitcoin right ever since the pandemic hit. I can't remember what it was, March 11th or something, March 14th. But they were great times to go shopping. And wouldn't consider just... it's not that long ago, and people are still complaining that Bitcoin isn't moving fast enough. Anyhow, enough of that. Let's see what else we got. Now, a little bit of Plan B stuff before we dive into the charts. I think it's very interesting because he was on the Pomp show yesterday, and he said some very, very interesting things. And I just wanted to share some of the highlights in case you didn't pick it up from the video, because it's kind of hard to distill it out. But when asked the question, does he see the end of cycle, end of 2021, and what his price predictions are? He was extremely bullish. So just to recap everybody, in case you missed it, he said he would be surprised, first of all, if Bitcoin was less than $100,000 at the end of 2021. Second of all, he said we will see a price that is at least $135,000 by Christmas. I'm going to zoom out for that. He said at least $135,000 by Christmas Day. Boom. That was like, whoa, that's super bullish. But I know we always had it in our chart, and I covered it as well about 2 weeks ago, I think. But just to recap, he said it with extreme conviction. And he also believes the market will continue to grow the stock to flow cross asset model targets to $288,000 or above. And most importantly, he would not be surprised if in Q1 or Q2 next year, so going out to the end of March or the end of June 2022, prices of $300,000, $400,000, or even $500,000. And all this man looks at is models, models, models. And he's been right so far. So I do believe, normally I say take what certain people say with a big grain of salt, but take what he says without the salt. Maybe a little pepper, but no salt required. Could be a new, I won't say what, a new NFT. Who knows? Tech Dev, another way of looking at things. He tweeted this. And again, seriously, Bitcoin couldn't be more on track when he compared 2017 to 2021. If you look at the parallels on the exact date stamp to today, it is uncannily similar with the movements. So anyway, if it does continue and it does follow the 2017 fractal, it'll take us up north of $180,000. So again, more crazy bullishness. So let's look at some charts. And there's a few things I want to point out here. This is the Bitcoin chart from a few minutes ago, and it includes the wick down with the whale manipulation. Everything else is going back about 3 months. But the last time we had Bitcoin oversold on the 1 hour chart was 3 times back in September, and that was a nasty month. And I have the 3 rings down there. It shows you the RSI dipping below 25, not 30, below 25, and where the prices were hit. Coincidentally, I had my green lines in there as support, and I remember talking about the quintuple bottom of Bitcoin hitting that level. Then we had another support level, the second green line up, which is part of my Elliott impulse wave that I drew back at the end of September. And we are actually off that impulse wave. I thought it was almost too good to be true that I was sticking to it, but it fell off a little bit, but it can still get back up to it. And remember, that impulse wave goes up to $135,000. So it goes way up into the future and way up high. But we're only just seeing a little bit of it right now. But the point is, Bitcoin was completely oversold based on an RSI perspective a few minutes ago. And that only happened 3 times in the last 60 days or so. So interesting observation, but let's go a little bit deeper. Let's talk about some of the smart contract platforms, and then we'll talk about how things compare to Bitcoin. As you can see here, the smart contract platforms came roaring back. Well, at least the top 4 were up big. Solana up 6%. X up even higher. I just saw right before I started, it's gone up even more. Cosmos is up 4.8%. Tezos 3%. Polkadot up 1%. Of course, the others are still in the red, but that was a big dramatic turnaround. But let's dig into that just a tad more. Let's look at Ethereum versus Bitcoin. And I know you got a lot of Ethereum fans out there, and the Ethereum had an amazing month over the last 30 or so days, going up more than 35%. But the few interesting things to note here when we compare Ethereum to BTC, and I'm going to do a lot more of that because we need to get away from looking at things in terms of dollar denominations. But the cool thing to note here is, first, the ETH over BTC ratio is at a 2.5-month low. Second of all, ETH over Bitcoin is under the 200-day moving average. And finally, RSI is at its lowest point in 107 days. So it's hard to say exactly what's causing this, but I believe the market might be getting a little bit of trepidation, worried about some of the delays with ETH 2.0 surfacing, or threats of losing market share to other smart contract platforms. And we'll see. But based on this TA, Ethereum is now oversold. So we'll see. Now, speaking about Solana, so quick update here. Solana hammered itself so beautifully. I don't know if you can zoom into that chart there. Beautifully, picture perfectly off the 50-day moving average. And that was the first time it hit the 50-day moving average since July. So that was an interesting observation when you look at that. Again, the RSI is middle of the road, not oversold, not overbought, just bouncing nicely. But the aggression with which it came off that 50-day moving average took me aback. And I always look at my 200-day and my 50-day moving averages when I look at cryptos, especially when they cross up and down. So that's Solana. But let's look a little bit more at Solana compared to Bitcoin and see exactly what's going on there. Here you see, using Bitcoin as a denominator, Solana looks oversold. And in addition, it's under the 50-day moving average for the first time since August 9th. So again, a good time to buy was yesterday for Solana, and we did buy yesterday. So it was nice to snag some before it actually rocketed. Picture perfect. So this is why we look at these types of indicators, because you can get a feel for where they stack up compared to other things. And when you know something like Bitcoin is overbought, or as the case was from the chart a few minutes ago, oversold, but it went from overbought to being oversold in like a day and a half. It's just interesting to know where things are going, so you can position yourself and know what to buy, when to buy it, if you're looking to snipe. So imagine if you've got a portfolio of 5 assets. This type of stuff is very helpful to know when you layer in to what at what time, based on where they are compared to other assets. And that's the real message I'm trying to get across here. So also, if we look at, again, Solana against Bitcoin, this is staggering. This is a relative 14% move in only 7 hours. So even though it only went up 6 or 7% against the dollar, it went up 14% against Bitcoin in 7 hours, because Bitcoin went down and Solana shot up. So this, if you are a swing trader or you trade in pairs, that would have been a sweet one to do. And we'll do more of that as well in the future. If you're interested, drop a comment below on how to swing trade pairs in crypto. So let's talk about Cardano. Yesterday, somebody asked me, why don't you talk more about Cardano? It's number 3 or number 4. I see it as number 4, but so here I am. It may not be good news though. So Cardano versus Bitcoin over the last month is not doing too well. Bitcoin went up 25% and Cardano had a brutal month, down 18%. So that is kind of where we are. But let's see how they compare to each other directly. With Cardano over Bitcoin, it's down 34%. And what's interesting about this, not only the loss of 34% over the last month, but the fact that we are under both a 50-day moving average and even the 200-day moving average. And also, when you look carefully at this chart, you'll see the RSI does not appear to be oversold. So technically speaking, it doesn't look like it's going to rebound anytime soon. Hopefully I'm wrong. I know there's a lot of Cardano holders out there, but the chart doesn't say it's looking to rebound to $3 anytime soon. We'll see. Anyway, that's just Cardano versus Bitcoin. Now let's talk about Avalanche. And please note here, I did sell Avalanche around the 12th of September, I think, to rotate the money from that into Solana. I was into Avalanche at $10 to $12 and felt when it hit 48 bucks. It was time to get out. I was worried about selling pressure from a big release of a lockup from insiders. And I ended up buying Solana at $136 and $121 a few days later. Now, I was kicking myself thinking, oh, I sold too soon, because Solana or Avalanche did rocket up afterwards. But now we are just a mere 10% from where I got out. And that's Avalanche. And Avalanche looks like, we'll see, but maybe the reason it's so weak now is because of that selling pressure that I anticipated, but I anticipated it too early. I got out too early, and I didn't realize they'd have such a big venture capital financing round as well at the same time. So again, lessons learned, but you can't time everything perfectly, but if you're sort of right, it works out. Now, let's talk about Polygon Matic news before we look at the chart. So here, this is a cool news release again. Sanjay, thank you for sharing, from Wu Blockchain. After Polygon increased their gas price from 1 Gwei to 30 Gwei, that's a 30x increase in fees to transact on the blockchain. The average transaction daily volume on the internet nearly halved. So the daily transactions dropped from 6 million to 3 million. Now, one of the reasons I love Polygon is how much they actually transact on a daily basis. Now it's cut in half. But think about it. If you 30x your revenue and you're only losing half your market, you're still making 15x your revenue. So to me, it seems like a no-brainer, and these people behind Polygon are very smart. But I'll monitor this carefully. Still hold Polygon, still bullish, still believe it's undervalued, and especially with this increase in revenue. But we'll see. Let's look at the chart and see what's going on here. This is kind of interesting. As usual, I got my little red dots everywhere to show you what's happening. But this is super crazy. So here you can see the way in which Polygon has actually moved. It went from overbought to oversold status. It went from overbought on the 2nd of October, and then it went to oversold on the 8th of October. That's 6 days apart. Then it went from oversold on the 6th all the way to the 12th, another 6 days between both. So it looks like this thing is moving in 6-day cycles, which I thought was kind of an uncanny pattern. And you can see as well, the overbought is when the RSI is above, in this case 80, twice, and same thing below 25 twice. So basically, the key message today is it hit the buy level. Now, I normally buy Matic at $1.04, but I think it was about $1.15 today, or $1.12. And that's a good place to get into a little bit of a position. So that is the Matic observations, which I thought were kind of uncanny. So let's see what's happening with Tesla. A little bit of stocks here. I know a lot of you own Tesla, or a lot of you want to own Tesla, but it's up 30% in 70 days, which is a very big move for a company this size. China had blowout sales numbers in cars, and Oppenheimer, the analyst firm, which is a very good firm, rated them as an outperform, and I believe also they'll have a great pre-earnings run. But you can see here that just over the past, 70 days, Tesla just keeps hitting at the top of the Bollinger Band all the way up, 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 up. Any weakness is bought up. So if you were a short like Michael Burry, you're not having a good time. And it's a juggernaut. And I believe Tesla could go to 840, maybe 850. And then after earnings, it'll probably take a breather. So like 80% of the time it sells off after earnings because there's so much hype and so much bullishness. It's all factored into the price. But we should continue to run up a little bit over the next few days. And I think earnings are on the October 20th, if I recall. So that's the Tesla news. And a big thank you as well to Simon Jepperson. Thanks much, bud. Love your work. And thank you for coining my phrase. I always say the future is bright with Bitcoin, and had this amazing photograph with Bitcoin in the sun. I thought I'd like to share that beautiful evening moment with you from Simon Jepperson. Beautiful art. Thank you again. Nice thoughts. So hope you like the content. Very short and quick today. Hit the like and subscribe if you haven't already. Take care. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and we'll do a live one tomorrow as well for sure. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye. And thank you as well for the stickers.